Hello YouTube. I'm here to tell you about something in electronics that badly infuriates me. And I'm going to show you why in the video. This video I'm not going to use the computer, it's mostly just a talking more, a very few showing. I hope that's okay with you. So, today we're going to be talking about USB based microcontrollers and how bad they can be. With like their design and stuff. All these boards here have a built-in USB protocol, and I'll want to have later on here. Most of them work, some of them don't work at all, or don't work very well. And I'm going to tell you about all of them. Now, I'm not really sure where to start on this, so I'm just going to go as I go, I guess. So, before I get to the real part of this video, I want to talk about programming methods for different types of controllers. Most of these controllers here are ARM-based, although some are 8-bit, like this one right here, the Arduino Leonardo, and maybe the CH340. But how ARM controllers are traditionally meant to be programmed as is using a JTAG adapter, like an ST-Link for the STM32 boards. They have a secondary programming method that uses a UART serial interface, UART 0. Or in the case of this piece of crap right here, the UART 1. But with the right bootloader, you can kind of almost program these boards through the USB port. Through an actual fully fledged USB driver, which is usually not a recommended way to do it. It's mostly recommended to use a JTAG adapter, and the serial adapter is optional. I would not recommend using USB adapters unless absolutely necessary. But for the 8-bit controllers, for example, the Arduino Uno, Mega, Leonardo, and other chips, their traditional means of programming them is through the SPI interface, using a special stereo programmer. Although with a bootloader, they can be programmed through UART using a conversion chip. But some USB-compatible boards, like the Leonardo, the Zero, and the Do here, all these are clones, by the way, but two of them are designed to look like the original boards, although they're not really the same. By the way, these boards here, let me just move stuff around here a little bit, I guess. Okay, these three boards right here have a properly working USB programming port for the Atmel brand chips. But most of the time, you do not want to trust the USB programmers unless you have no other choice. If you can get away with using a converter chip or any sort of like adapter, I don't know, most likely you recommend using a standard conversion chip and not a JTAG adapter, like just something generic. It'll be more safer for your computer and software and hardware stuff, and yeah, and it will not send AC pitch signals to your computer. But here is the big part that I am kind of infuriated about when it comes to the USB programming ports on these boards. Some of them just do not work at all or are not properly programmed. Boards, let's take a little example here. The STM32 boards, they're primarily designed to use a JTAG adapter and can also optionally use the program a little serial converter, as mentioned earlier. On here, I believe A9 and A10 for the STM32 F401s and maybe 411s are for the serial UART programming. But here's the thing. This came from a certain manufacturer. The same manufacturer over here came from the CH552 by WeAct Studio, a tiny manufacturer that makes seemingly good design board but with crappy, terrible software support. I mean, like, it's bad software support. I mean, like, worse than some random guy learning how to do electronics or whatever, and just in general. But they took an official chip and they put a bootloader on it that does not enable the program port on this thing. Some people say you can, like, make the chip a little warmer and then room temperature and it will work, but I don't see how that works. It doesn't work that way. If your bootloader does not enable the USB drivers and configure them correctly, you're not going to be able to program them, period, unless you reflash the chip somehow with a more efficient bootloader. Which can only be done with a JTAG adapter, I believe. But this here, the WeX Studio used an official STM board and put a stupid, crappy, terrible bootloader. I'm trying not to say curse words here, but I really want to. And then when I plug this in, it tried to download an official ST Microelectronics driver. Now, I don't know if maybe people noticed, but ST Microelectronics does not care about the programming method of these controllers. They only want you to do it the wrong way, which is downloading a crappily designed software with bad support and stuff. Yeah, Arduino can do this a lot better. Even their own version of Arduino is better than their own program. Although, you have to hack the Arduino library so you don't have to use your crappy program, because, I will explain why in another video. It's kind of sketchy, actually. Ah, my hand's hurting. The USB drivers by ST Microelectronics are badly designed. They will not install on devices over Windows 7. It must be Windows 7 and below, if it can reach Windows XP. It probably just only Windows 7, I think. They don't care about their customers, really. They're inconsiderate. Don't trust ST Microelectronics for anything. So I got this plugged in, I got a driver, I updated a driver, and it never installed correctly. You have to go into like the device manager and click on it and click properties or something to be able to see. It's like a little yellow icon on it. And the drivers are terrible. And it makes it worse that the bootloader didn't even give a valid port. It didn't give a port at all, like it was improperly configured. It had a device ID, but that was about it. It didn't actually include the programming support on this. Now, as far as I can tell, it does not matter if you have a driver that installs correctly or not. Your device must be properly configured to have an actual port on it, or it won't work, period. With or without a driver. But, yeah, just don't buy anything from WeX Studio unless you know how to, like, hack the software on other platforms or whatever to add support yourself to upload them. But, with this board right here, the CH552, I made another video about how to use this. This board the chip itself is actually complete and total trash. And here's why. I know I said don't trust the bootloaders, but I thought I would try it anyway because I wanted to use the power pins on here. I don't have many power pins. I only have 3 volt, 5 volt, and 1 negative. I mean, I just need 2 grounds. I have 1 ground. I need 2 grounds. 3 if I can. This board is poorly designed. There's not enough ground pins on it. The 5 volt and 3 volt is fine. I just need an extra ground pin. Or have to go for loops and hoops to get it wired up with like alligator jumpers and cutting wires and stuff, which I don't have time to do right now. But when I tried to get this chip here working, the weird part is the USB bootloader on here does seem to give a normal running mode port. Also an unidentifiable port that has no device identification, although it should have a device identification. It gave a port, but that is only used for reading data from it. You cannot program this regardless. I downloaded the driver for it. I had to go into the device settings and click it and push troubleshoot. It came as an unknown device, and I got a driver. I had to go for loops and hoops with the updates on my Windows and dealing with computer hackers and crap like that. It didn't make a difference. The board itself does not have a valid port on it, and there's no possible way to get one. Without re-uploading the bootloader, but I don't even know if anyone even makes a bootloader for this that is actually good. The factory one is still on here, but it's trash. It's stupid, it's crap, it doesn't work. So I'm stuck using this converter chip until, I don't know, later. I'm going to use this to read serial data output, but that's all I can do with it. I can only read serial output. I can't actually program it without this converter right here. There's no other way I can program it. Which is kind of a shame, because I was hoping I could have a little bit of flexibility with this, but nope, it's not happening. It's the manufacturer's fault. I did everything I could, it doesn't make a difference. These chips are not well designed, and the software is what's holding back the hardware even more than it already is. Now, let's see, there are only 3 major companies on the entire planet, all are American, that manufacture good bootloaders and good USB drivers, and the software and hardware. No one else does this. Although these manufacturers may send their schematics to China so they can manufacture them, and which also called this bootleg counterfeits to happen, but even without the counterfeits, only the American manufacturers, only 3 out of all of them, can make power bootloaders. That includes Atmel series chips, which are these 3 right here, ESP32 chips from ExpressIF, This is an ESP32S3. It has like a little display and other stuff on it, but the core is actually an ESP32S3, and that runs pretty good on the USB driver. And then you got Raspberry Pi and the Raspberry Pi Pico RP2040. Those are the only three brands of controllers that have good USB support. Oh my, actually there's actually a fourth one, but they're not as good as the other three though. I don't know what they're called, but they make the chips that Qixi by PGRC puts their chips in the manufacturer into. I think the manufacturer is called NXP or something. It says on like their website for a chip shortage announcement, but there's like 3 or 4 manufacturers that make the best bootloaders. Although I don't think the bootloader for these was made by the manufacturer. I think it was made by someone else, by a community, and then PGRC used that, and it works pretty well. It gets a valid port and everything. And probably some other features too. And also the ability to program. However, the STM boards and other boards that aren't from these 4 manufacturers, they are junk. You do not want to trust any of them unless you're willing to get one of these or hack the software to add your own support somehow if you're like a good coder, or like me, take someone else's drivers and stick it in here to make it work, which I will talk about in another video to tell you how to do that. Because it's necessary to get STM32 boards to work on Arduino properly, correctly. Now, here's my opinion, which it should be a fact because, before I get to that, this board here already has a proper converter on it, so I'm not going to count it. But it's an STM board that has a USB driver on it, and it already has a converter on it, so I don't have to talk about that one, but, before I get, ST Microelectronics seems like they make really good schematics and good controllers, but they lack the ability to make good software support. Just like people in China. But ST Microelectronics does not come from China. I think they might be from the United States somewhere. If not, let me know, but they're not from China. They might get their chips manufactured in China, but not in the United States. But let's just say if there is any controller you want to get that is not by the 4 main companies, Atmel, Raspberry Pi, Expressif, or NXP, using the PGRC TT boards, do not buy them unless you are able to hack software and use the converter chip on them. Do not trust them at all. Now here's my opinion. I don't think China should have the right to manufacture processors that aren't schematics that aren't given to them from other countries. China really sucks at manufacturing if they don't have like an instruction made by someone else. For example, the CH552 is a Chinese exclusive microcontroller, and they did a bad job at it. It has not enough memory, and they didn't even get the memory map on it correct. It's not well designed and terrible USB drivers. I can only print serial from this, but I cannot actually program it without this. So I think China shouldn't have the right to even be on this planet because they can't do things right if someone else from a different country ain't telling them to. It's like most of the people are stupid. I think stupider than the people in the United States. I mean, like, I'm sorry to be rude, but like the intelligence of people's brains is not that good in other places. It varies from country to country, but I think the United States is second worst and China is the first worst. Japan and other countries, I don't really know how good their technology nerds are and their brains and stuff, but probably better than the United States and China combined, I bet. And that really infuriates me. They make a pretty promising looking device and they barely even manage to make the programming aspect of it work. Even ST Microelectronics can't do that either. The company sucks really bad. And it infuriates me that people can't do things right. The only thing that China managed to get right is the CH340. It's not a controller, it's purely a converter chip, and it has an active port like it should. But since no one else can't make controllers that, why not just make embedded CH340 drivers inside of the chips themselves? That'd be a lot more easier. China can learn a lot from me. Make chips like this, but using embedded chips like this, built into the main chip itself, connected to the USB bus. Sure, it is not true USB compatibility, but it will work a lot better than this junk. Or this junk, or this junk here. Although not this one, specifically this one, but in general, Like I said before, this already has the converter on it, so it works better, but come on, people, you have to do better than this. If you can't make things good, then you shouldn't have the right to make anything. Or even have the right to live. I'm sorry if I'm being too harsh, but I'm also not sorry at the same time. People should learn how to be better. And not be so stupid, and actually manufacture things correctly. We need more people like Atmel. We need more people like Expressive. We need more people like Raspberry Pi and NXP. We need more companies that can actually manufacture stuff properly, unlike anyone else on Earth. I can't stress this enough. There are not enough controllers out there that aren't manufactured correctly. I know the bootloaders for these two are part of the design by Arduino themselves, and they did a pretty good job on the software side of things. So, but if it's not like Arduino or Atmel or the other things here, whatever, except for this garbage right here, I gotta make a different side for this crap. If it ain't one of the four main things over here, you can't trust them for anything. They can't do a good job, period. Maybe if their companies never existed, maybe it could be a lot better. That means WeAct Studio and WCH, ST Microelectronics, and a few others. Most of them being in China, but some of them here in the United States, or wherever else they are, like ST Microelectronics. I mean, the only thing that STM got good for them is they actually do a good job on the hardware, but they just don't care enough about to do the software. China doesn't even know how to do software or hardware, unless they're given a schematic from someone in the United States. I mean, seriously? Really? And I'm talking about the entire planet here. The entire planet Earth should know better. But it's like the more we evolve, the stupider we get. The phones, the electronics are making us stupider. And just the medicine system is making us stupider. We don't need it. We don't need phones. We don't need medicine. We don't need anything. We need to go back to the prehistoric times. Because that's when everything was good. I'm going to make an extended topic on a different video. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little short rant I made, I guess. It's something, no one else was going to do it, so I had to. So please take my word and use certain controllers, but not all of them. And don't trust other companies that aren't the four main: Raspberry Pi, Expressive, Atmel, and NXP. Only trust those four brands if the Atmel chips have Arduino-powered bootloaders in them, made by Arduino. Although Atmel is still a very good company, but compared to all four of these are good companies. I can't stress that enough. I'm gonna keep repeating it because I don't know another way to put it. I better probably get off of here because I might aggravate some people who are not intelligent enough to know that things need to be changed around here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Dislike it, I guess. Like it, I guess. I don't care. Just do the right thing and make the controllers better, I guess. And use the ones that need to be supported, like the four main companies. And don't support any of the other ones. Not even ST Microelectronics. They suck at the software thing, but hardware makes up for their misdoings. But China, no. No. Bad all the way around. Anyway, goodbye. Sorry for the rambling. I will see you next time. Peace out. Goodbye.